I'm in Westchester actually.
In where?
Westchester.
I don't know where. West. All I
West
hearing is west.
Westchester.
Oh, Worcester. Oh, okay.
Yes. Thanks for joining the Emancipate Show. I'm your host Kel. Joining me today is Calypso Don. This guy been how long you been doing music now, sir?
Well, I first started in 1999. That's recording, but I started performing in 2001, and obviously, so we're looking about what 22 years ago. Yeah.
Mhm. So you're initially from you from the UK or
So I was born and raised in Trinidad, and I left Trinidad at the age of 18, and I emigrated to the UK, where I currently reside. And yeah, so and 2 years later, after moving to England, like I said, I recorded my first track in 1999, and yeah, I've just continued to promote the music, the art form, the culture of my homeland, soca and calypso music, and to the people, not just in the UK but around the world.
Mhm. So why you decided to go in soca?
Well, to be honest with you, I initially I sang, like, I made my success as a, like, singing calypso.
Mhm.
So I won the UK title 4 years in a row singing calypso, and after singing it for 4 years and winning, I just wanted to, I wouldn't say challenge myself only, but I felt as though I had more to offer where music is concerned, because I write my own songs.
Mhm.
I compose my own lyrics, and I thought I have lots of messages that I could send out there to all generations, not just the younger folks, but people around my age and the generation before me, and so on, because we all need different things in our life. Kids need upliftment. The older people might need comforting, consoling, memories of when they were younger, and so forth. So my music incorporates all these things. It's all about, like, for the youths, like, uplifting them and giving them that drive to want to believe in themselves and to become better individuals as they grow into adults. One of my biggest hits in 2020, it was trending in Africa, the continent of Africa, during the pandemic. A song called "Call on Jah." It was a collaboration between a guy from Nigeria and a guy from Jamaica by the name of King Fono and myself. And like I said, it was just trending all over the African continent, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria, because the people, during the pandemic, we lost, well, not we, but a lot of people lost loved ones, and they lost them suddenly,
Mhm.
unexpectedly. And it was just a song that's, to say, like, call on Jah. When things get tough, there's
Yeah.
always, yeah. So yeah, it's a brilliant composition. Like I said, there was a guy from Jamaica. He brought a bit of dancehall flavor to it. I was doing a bit of, like, reggae, and then you had the Nigerian guy bringing in the sort of African, those vintage style African ad libs and so forth. So yeah, so that's things like that. But also, like I say, on the soca scene, I'm singing my soca. I'm doing Afro beats. I have a producer who is based in Africa, doing Afro beats, and I've got a producer in Trinidad who does my soca songs. So yeah, so it's all about targeting, like I said, the different cultures out there, the different you know d- demographics, if you want to speak, and so on, and putting the music out there so that everybody can have a feel, can have a say, can enjoy, can listen to the message, and hopefully I can inspire them, all different generations.
What's the difference between calypso music and as you would say as and reggae?
Right.
Is it more like more upbeat, more energetic, or
Yeah. So again, calypso. So again, I want to differentiate for the people out there. So in Trinidad and
Mhm.
most of the Caribbean islands, so we have calypso and we have soca. So calypso, but soca came from calypso. So just like how you have reggae and you
Mhm.
have dancehall, if you speak to any Jamaican, they will tell you there's a difference between the two. Yeah, there's a
Right.
difference between reggae and dancehall. So calypso is is the name that was brought. Well, it goes back to the slavery time. Yeah, calypso. So calypso to somebody from Trinidad is a West Indian song with an African rhythm, but also it has is a political or social commentary. So it talks about the issues in society, you know. So political stuff will talk about, how what the politicians done during the year and all these kind of stuff. But then you have social issues like poverty, like crime, and all this kind of stuff. Soca, on the other hand, soca is the catchy one, the up tempo one, the one people dance to carnival day on the floats. That's a soca. And the word soca derived or came from, it's a mixture of soul music, and calypso music. So the lyrical content is there, the catchy hook is there in the chorus, but it has a soul feeling to it because it makes you want to get off your feet, off your chair, and dance, jump up, and wave.
Sure.
So, so a lot of people, when they hear soca, they actually, outside of the Caribbean or outside of Trinidad, they would say it's calypso. But we wouldn't call that a calypso. We would call that a soca. So even that song, "Feeling Hot, Hot, Hot" by
Yeah.
Arrow, ole ole, some people call that a calypso. That's actually a soca. Yeah, that's a soca. You
Gotcha.
know, yeah. So that's the difference.
So
So carry on. Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, so but you back to your question about reggae and calypso. So reggae, I mean, you'll probably know more than me because of your Jamaican heritage and so on. But reggae is, you have the conscious stuff,
Hmm.
conscious reggae. It could be quite laid back as well, quite chilled. You know what I mean? Whereas calypso, like I said, is social, political, um, commentary. You could even add humor to it. At humor term, there's a category, humor category as well, where people sing double meaning. So yeah, yeah, those kind of things. So I had a particular a calypso one a couple of years ago about gonorrhea, but it was a play on words between gonorrhea, the STD, and gonorrhea, as in how the Jamaicans say
Yeah.
gonorrhea, so as in gun in abundance.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the crime, you know, the crime in society, because everybody guns are in abundance. So it's like a play on words. So when they go into the verses of the song and they'll actually listen to the song, I'm talking about crime, but I'm also bringing the STDs into it, and using a bit of I don't want to, well, yeah, if you want to call it sexual, it has some sexual meaning behind it because of the link to the STDs.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So double entendre, if you want to call it that. Yeah. Like the French say.
So, all right, this you're my first person that I've ever interviewed that actually done so that's doing soca. How did your when did your music actually came about? Like soca and all this calypso stuff. When did it actually came about on the scene? Like what era did it came about?
Yeah. So Calypso, like I said to you, it go way back when. Um, so how it all started was back during slavery. Obviously, you know the trials and struggles that our forefathers went through during
Mm.
slavery. So what the some of the slaves used to do, what they would because they didn't really have a say, yeah, because you're a slave. Every now and again, they would get the opportunity to get together and put on a show, put on a show for the masters, and this was their way because of their African heritage, and they can beat the drums and they have the rhythm. They would come together and play these instruments, and whoever can sing will basically come forth and sing whatever African ritual they may have. But some of the creative ones also would try and get their express their beef or the issues they may have with how they're being treated. And this was their way of getting that across. So it went back to all the way then. It wasn't called calypso then. Calypso is what the colonists call it. if that makes sense. It wasn't called Calypso. It was called Kaiso. Kaiso, which in the Heso language in Africa means bravo. So when these people sang, they'll be saying bravo. At the end of it, you'll be hearing them saying the fellow, because of the language they were speaking, they would say bravo, bravo, and as like I said, the colonists and they give it the name Calypso. So it goes all the way back to then, to slavery. Soca, on the other hand, was created by the late Rash Otiai, who was a Trinidadian born singer, and it was in the 70s where he merged. He thought, oh, we can take this even further if we merge soul with calypso, and we call that soca. So it's an up tempo thing, something we can dance to. That came about in the 70s, and like I said, it was done by or created by Rash Otiai, or Garfield Blackman, as his birth name, Garfield Blackman. Yeah, so that's the in a nutshell, that's the history behind calypso and soca.
Mm, interesting. I wasn't aware of any of that. So
Yeah,
I know that you guys have one of the most best steel bands.
yeah.
Like what makes your bands different? What makes your instruments different that you guys used to play from every other? Because I know Jamaica have calypso, but ain't nobody rocking with Trinidad and Tobago is the mecca for calypso and soca.
Yeah.
What gives your instrument the authenticity it has?
So
Just
so when
that's
what what you talking about here? The actual the music itself, or the
steel
song,
band, the
the
steel
steel
band.
drum. All right.
You ever
So
hear? Hold on. You ever hear them say our Dexter Dap say steel band a beat like Trinidad?
yeah, yeah. So right. So again, Trinidad invented the steel drums, or the steel. We call it steel pan
Yeah.
in Trinidad, but the rest of the world call it steel drum.
Hmm.
Um. So yeah. So we invented it. So you have you have what you call pan arrangers, as in people who can hear a song. It could be any song. It doesn't have to be a calypso. They could listen a song by the late Whitney Houston, or a song by Beyonce now, and they would be able to. Their arrangers who would be able to take that song and arrange it so that a steel band can actually play it, sorry, and you would hear that song and you will know what they're playing, and you will think, wow, this is amazing. Now, there are people who have grades in music, like grade 8 or degrees in music. But these people in Trinidad who arrange steel pan music, some of them have no qualifications in music. It's just what David Rudder, a calypsonian, a big time calypsonian by the name of David Rudder, he said it's rooted deep within our Caribbean belly. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. Say it's within us. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
ability, my ability to write calypso and write soca, I did not go to school and learn that. It wasn't primary school, secondary school, or any university back in Trinidad or in the UK or wherever. This is something that a talent that I realized I had and have. But not everybody. My brother, he can write a song to save his life. Yeah, but he could dance to the song. He could relate to the song. But there are some people who just have, and I guess it's the same in Jamaica with dancehall and reggae. You have people who could just, Chronics. Chronics, a beautiful writer and singer. Yeah, but not every Jamaican can do that. Yeah. So some people, we just have the knack. We don't we haven't gone to school to learn the art of this. Learn the formula that there is for writing songs. And when you
Right.
get to a certain part, you must do this. Chronics just probably wakes up one morning, have a cup of tea, do whatever, and he just starts singing. And it's just from his heart. It's what he feels. You know what I mean? And it's the
Right.
same with the producers, the guys doing the music. They'd be like on the beach, hearing the water bash against this, and they just have vibes, what we call vibes, because that's us, that's our culture, that's our lifestyle, that we breathe it. We've been hearing it as youngsters, so it's just within us. Yeah. So yeah, so the going back to the steel pan or the steel drum as the world call it, we there are guys out there who just love arranging and they tune the pan. The pan is tuned, so it's the last instrument to be developed in the 21st century. And the beauty of the steel pan is a guitar could only play like a guitar, if that makes sense. When you pick up a guitar, you know what a guitar should sound like. When you pick up a cello,
Mm-hmm.
you know what a cello will sound like.
Yeah.
A steel drum, you can have a bass steel drum, which plays like a bass guitar. You can have a cello steel pan, which sounds like a cello playing. You have a tenor. You understand where I'm going there? There's
Mhm.
different. They tune these pans to give off certain effects and to replicate certain other instruments within the music world. That's the beauty of the steel drum. Yeah.
Gotcha. Um, you mentioned a guy named Jason Worthless. What is it? Worthless John?
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
that?
Right. So when I that's a guy who I grew up with when I was living back in Trinidad. He got murdered in about 2005, I think it was. And to it's ironic that you asked that because my brother and I was talking about him today, and it was just the fact that so he was raised in a family. So to make it simple, he had about 15 siblings. Yeah. His mother didn't work because she had no education and so forth. And his father, who worked, used to drink the money at the end of the month. He was an alcoholic. So you have this guy here with 15 other siblings, yeah, some of them like the age of 4, 3, whatever, and he is within that environment where he's seeing these kind of things. His mother trying the best to help them, father drinking the money. Now, his mother tried to get him to go to primary school, so got him uniform, got him shoes, and all that kind of stuff. And when he got to school, the primary school, I saw this with my own eyes. The principal turned him away, turned him and his mother away because of the reputation of the family. Now, what do you say? What do you say to a child when you and I both know education is important? So how could he, at the age of 10, 11, then make it in society? The mother can't even go to a lawyer and make a complaint. She can't go to the local MP because she don't even know how to write. Yeah, you see where I'm coming from.
Mhm.
So there are people who never saw these things in their lives, and they look at people who are struggling in society and they believe they all had the same path like them. That same Jason John had siblings who were 3 and 4 years old living in that. You can't ask a 5-year old to go and find a job or go on the plantation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he died. Obviously, he was still constructive despite all of that. He tried to get to plant, produce and sell and so forth. But he got murdered in the end, and he also he also saved me from getting stabbed when I was younger. He saved me from getting stabbed in a party, and he walked me from the party to my house that night. All my other friends just stayed in the party. He walked me home to that party and make sure I was home safe and sound. And I'll never forget that. So the song I did for him, which was Thankful for Life, because I'm thankful for life because he has played a part in that. I mean, I'm not saying I would have gotten stabbed if he hadn't walked me home, but it's just the action, the thought of him to accompany me, and you know what I mean. And that was my way of repaying him because at the time I couldn't repay him in any other way. I couldn't clothe him. I used to obviously give him food, invite him home. He would get food. My mom would cook. I'd invite him over for food and so on because I realized he was someone in need. And if I have, why can't I help someone in need? I can't help everybody because I'm no millionaire, but whatever I can do, I try and help. And yeah, so I decided to pay tribute or to dedicate this song, Thankful for Life, to him. And it's literally talking about, the second verse is about his circumstances, really, how his mom, a single mom with few children, had no income, so no one will lend. End of the month, she can't find a friend, and on the system she cannot depend. So it's a lot of Thankful for Life is a very deep song with a very positive message. And we all got to be thankful because tomorrow is not guaranteed. You know
A
what I
fact.
mean? Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So
Possibility was probably the reason why you're here making
yeah,
music.
yes, correct, yeah. So that's who he was, Jason John. Yeah.
Okay. How old was he when he passed?
We saw so 2005, I would have been 26, so he would have been about 28, 29. Yeah, 28, 29. He was a few years older than me.
I see.
Yeah.
Um, what's this status of Trinidad and Tobago? Like they kind of wilding out down there right now with the crime.
Yeah. The crime is I mean, I'm not going to deny it. It's there. Everybody can see it. It's yeah. The crime is really it's bad. It's terrible. Let's put it that way. It's terrible. Excuse me, but again is the society in that people when people look and they see how Trinidad has wealth. Trinidad has wealth. It's always had wealth. Yeah, and when people look in society or some people look in society and see how things are being run and so on, it could be very frustrating. And I've been back there. I've been living outside of the country for 20 odd years now. And I go back there sometimes and things you just see how people get away with stuff because of who they are and who they know. And it could be frustrating for the small man. For the small man, it could be very, very frustrating because it's not it seems like it's unfair. And I'm not saying the rest of the world isn't like that. Yeah, because it's as you know, we are all adults. It's the same all over in terms of it's about who you know get your places. But it's so in your face and so obvious back there. Is like they say, there's a phrase or expression back there: ignorance is bliss. In Trinidad, ignorance is bliss, and people just accept it. You will walk into a shop. This is the level I'm talking about. You will walk into a shop which is owned by a proprietor, so not government owned. This is his personal shop. He would be talking to a friend, and you in the line waiting to get served, and he's talking to that person for 5 minutes, and you would say, "Excuse me, I would like to," and he would say to you, "If you cannot wait, go in the next shop." That is the level I'm talking about. Now, there's no way you can go in Walmart, get to the counter in Walmart, yeah, and that person at the till would be like talking to a friend for half an hour, and when you complain, he or she would give a remark like that. She would get sacked. She would be fired. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that is the mentality, the mindset that you're having to deal with in Trinidad. Yeah, that's just one example, but there's so many others. But I
So,
know we haven't got that amount of time. Yeah,
oh, no doubt. It looked like Trinidad and Jamaica fight for the number one spot.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I think Jamaica ahead of us at the moment, but
yeah.
Trinidad closing in. The closing
Yes.
in.
Look at
Yeah,
them fight for the number one spot. But what a
yeah,
shame.
yeah,
So it, in if you could make any changes in the country from where you at as a musician and as an artist and as a person as a whole, if you
yeah.
had any kind of influences, so what changes would you like to make to the country and the people?
To the country, I'd probably try and what I would like to do is because I've seen the struggle as a musician, I'll probably try and set up a studio if my budget allows it. set up a studio um, for kids, you know, mainly for the youths, because as you and I know, youths are the future, but they're also very gifted, very talented. Set up a studio for these youths, and also have maybe have a radio station where their songs or where their voices or where the material can be heard, because again, that is another obstacle that they're fighting back there in terms of getting airplay. People recording songs, but there's only a crop of artists whose songs have been played on the radio, and so forth. And that's something I would endeavor to accomplish if I was ever to generate some enough revenue to achieve something like that. That because I experienced that struggle, and it was, if I had to live there during that, I wouldn't be singing now. It's because of my job, and because of how the society I'm living in and my income here, I'm able to manage myself to do the music. I write my own stuff. I could afford to pay producers back in Trinidad and in Africa to do my music. But there's some youths in the Caribbean, they can't do that. They can't afford, or in Trinidad, sorry, they can't afford it. So they look left, they look right, they see they can make some money here selling drugs or whatever, and they go for that quick option. So yeah, so that would be my contribution to help the youths of the nation, because like I said, the youths are the future. They are the future.
Got you. So what year you landed in we were in England, right?
Yeah, England, 1997. So
Right.
this,
How did your journey start off in music? So
pardon?
how did your journey start off in music? Like when you landed?
Yeah, so like I said, 97 I got there, and in 1999 I recorded my first song. I wasn't living in London. I lived in a city called Birmingham,
Mhm.
not Alabama. Yes, but Birmingham in England. And yeah, I went to London. I got in touch with a guy who was like, he had a record store selling calypso and soca music. So I approached him and I asked him for actually somebody put me onto him. Sorry, somebody put me onto him, and I asked him. I said, well, I have a song that I've written and I would like to record it. And he put me on to another individual who actually sings soca today, but he's now based in Canada, and his name is Kerwin Dubois. And Kerwin Dubois was the guy who actually did the music for the song, and the song was entitled Millennium Jam, because obviously when it was 99 going into 2000, and you know all the talk was about the millennium. So that's how it started off for me with regards to recording. In 2000, a year later, but that was a soca song. But a year later, I started writing calypso. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I went onto my brother's laptop and I wrote 4 verses of a calypso, and it took me about half an hour, which is really quick. Your first ever song, really really quick, and it's then I realized I had the ability, because following that song, I probably wrote about 5 songs within a month of writing that song. So yeah, so that's when I realized I had the ability, and I just continued to write. I went back to Trinidad in 2001 to sing. I got into every competition I entered. I got into the finals. I didn't win any. My best place was fourth, but I was happy with that because, like I said, is putting, like contributing to keeping the art form alive and getting a message out there, getting my message out there across to the people, and so forth. So yeah, it was a very good experience to me, and I'll never forget that, because it was my first time singing or competing in Trinidad, and I continued here in England. And like I said, I won the title 4 years in a row, um, from 2012 to 2015, and I went to Canada and performed for those 4 years. I went to Canada and performed, and I received a lot of. They called me back. Hence the reason 4 years. I went the first year, And they said, "Now we love this boy," and they kept calling me back for the next 3 years after that, subsequent years. But like I said, I then moved on to soca and Afrobeat because I think I have more to offer. I haven't totally left Calypso. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to diversify and target a bigger audience because more people listen soca than Calypso. More people listen Afrobeat than soca and Calypso. So if I can branch across into those two genres, I can target a bigger audience, and my message could, reach, a broader audience.
What was your
That's
first
what I
song
said.
you wrote?
The first song, well, the one in '99 was Millennium Jam. Like I said, that was a soca. The first calypso I wrote was called Woes of La Trinity. So Trinidad is also known as La Trinity because Christopher Columbus, when he rediscovered Trinidad, he saw the first thing he saw was three hills as he came off the boat onto the land. He saw three hills and he called them the Trinity Hills.
In
So it's
Discover, our people did that.
no, he rediscover.
Right.
Yeah, he rediscover. So and the first thing he saw was the three hills. So he called it Trinidad. But La Trinity is in Spanish, La Trinity, the hills, the three hills. So
Right.
that's basically what the whole idea behind that. The song Woes of La Trinity was all the issues that was going on in the country. I wanted to highlight that because again, the frustration that the youths the youths have to deal with. You know what I mean? That was something that needed addressing. I thought because I was a bit fortunate that my aunts in England sent for me and to make my life better. I went to college. I went to university. Now I'm an aircraft technician. Now, if I would never achieve that back in Trinidad because my parents would never been able to afford for me to do the training and schooling and so on. So
Hmm.
my aunts they invited me. So I was fortunate, but not everybody is that fortunate or gets that opportunity. So I thought, yeah, attack that issue. So I mean, it may not change, but at least I'm trying to enforce change.
Right. So, which Trinidadian artists you're inspired by? Is some of them guys from Barony and the Dragonaires? Is some of them from? I think so. I think one or two of them is from Trinidad, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I don't know who's actually singing with them now, but there used to be a guy called Oscar B. Oscar B, who used to sing with Byron Lee and the Dragonets. He's Trinidadian, but like I said, I don't know who the band members are today. But back in the '90s, certainly when I was living in Trinidad, Oscar B was one of the band members or one of the lead singers with the band. Sorry, what was the other question? You had posed another question just before that.
No, no. That's okay.
Okay.
Um, what's the so when you're writing like calypso and soca,
Yeah.
like how can you differentiate them? What's the different tempos with them?
Right. So this is a I won't say a tricky question, but this is a very good question because, like I said to you, because soca stemmed or came from calypso, soca is a bit is it's very it's very what's the word? You can experiment more with soca if that makes sense. You can experiment more with soca. So
Hmm.
soca can be you have groovy soca and you have what we call power soca. So power soca is the faster one. It's really fast, and then you have groovy soca, which is the one you might chip to or just take a little slow wine to,
Right.
if that makes sense. Whereas with the calypso now, it's like I said to you, earlier, it's a political, social, or humorous commentary. So this one is more about the lyrics. You're focusing more on lyrics when it comes to calypso. For soca, it's about the music and a hook line. if you can get a hook line, it's so like feeling hot, hot, hot. That's the
Yeah,
hook line. Nobody interested in any of the other lyrics in the verse. They just want that hook line. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Follow the leader, 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 follow the leader. That's the hook line. That's soca. You know what I mean? Yeah, and
yeah.
you probably know Nani wine, Nani wine, Nani wine. So yeah, yeah. So those are hook lines, and that's all. That's what soca. You just want to. You need something to grab the people, and so that they could walk away and sing. They'll be in the car driving back from a performance and just singing that. You know? Yeah.
So if I know what you're gonna probably say already, but I'm still gonna ask, what era of soca you think resonate with people till this day?
What era? The era or the era?
Mhm.
But again, it depends on the. It depends on the generation we're talking about. So seeing that it started in the mid 70s around there, you would find like my parents, which is the generation before me, they would probably say the 80s. The 80s would be their era for soca. Whereas myself, I'm 44 now. I grew up in the 80s. So I I enjoyed from the mid 80s to even now. Yeah, I know all those musics. I've learned all those songs, but I would say probably the 90s because that was the time when I was partying as a teenager, and you're amongst your peers enjoying life. So that would be my era or era for enjoying anything from the early 90s to about 2002 around there. However, I've continued to listen the music, and the music is always evolving. So and me myself as a singer and songwriter, I have to move on with the times. So I am evolving as well, and I have adapted as the music has changed, as the art of writing or the skill of writing had to evolve with the music. So I am I am enjoying this because I have come from an era where you know the music was one way, but now it's been transformed slightly. It's still soca music. You still have the same type of rhythm, but in terms of how these people delivering stuff, in terms of the material they're singing, the stuff they're singing, it's aimed a lot at the youths. It's aimed a lot at the youths. Whereas in my time, in the 80s and in the 90s, my parents could dance, they could sing to these
Right.
songs because yeah.
Got you, got you. So you have a song named Salt Watermelon. What's that about?
Right. So no, no, the song is actually called Pack Your Bags. But it was on a rhythm. Like when them Jamaicans do rhythm. What they call
Yeah,
right. So it was on a rhythm called salt water rhythm. So that was the name of the rhythm, salt water, as because from the from the Caribbean islands. So we have the salt water, the beach. They call it like the beach water, salt water. You know what I mean? So we
yeah,
decided, right. So we wanted to come up with something that, because the rhythm was to do with songs that nation building song that's speaking about Trinidad and Tobago. So we wanted to come up with an idea or a name that could link Trinidad and Tobago to that rhythm. So saltwater rhythm, you know. So that was the idea behind it. But the song was called Pack Your Bags, or it's called Pack Your Bags. So it's talking about foreigners, whether they are Trinidadians who living abroad or tourists visiting Trinidad for the carnival season, how they pack in the bags and everybody looking to head down. So I'll just recite a few lines for you. I pack my passport and all my luggage and heading down from the snow. Where I come from, where I go in, believe nobody don't know. So many years now I abroad and freezing out in the cold. But now I'm flying to one of the wonders of the world. Then I go in, yes, the land of Calypso. I miss steel pan and limbo. So you see, I'm talking about all the stuff that the country has to offer, that the people who the Trinidadians who live in abroad missing, and the people who have visited Trinidad, the tourists who have visited before, or the ones who never have but coming for the first time. This is what they're coming to see, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that is what that song is about. So yeah, pack your bags and come on down. Pack your bags or pack your bags and let we go. Yeah.
Speaking of pack your bags, what are some of your fun memories being in Trinidad?
Fun memories of being in Trinidad. School for me, secondary school. That was my favorite time. So from the age of 12 all the way to the age of 16, because no, the age of 17, because I left in 96. Yeah. So the age of 17, that was my best time, because when when you're in secondary school, and it's like you're just enjoying life. You don't think about you're gonna die tomorrow, or anything like that. It's just fun. You feel invincible. So those are the best years growing up with my friends in the village, playing sports, just hanging out, um, heckling each other verbally, making fun about. Yeah, that was just the days. And then when you like we all have, like, we in WhatsApp groups now, and we reminisce about those times, because the children today, they haven't got some of them haven't got that experience, or will never get that experience, because it's all about the mobile phone now. It's all about the mobile phone. We didn't have the mobile phone. I grew up where, in the early stages of my life, we didn't have the game console. Game console came for me when I was about 16. So before that, it was board games, cards, or you just hang out and just have fun, play sports. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I miss that. I miss that a lot.
It, I would recommend. This is something just to think about. You might not do it, but um,
Yeah.
something to think about. Since we were speaking on the youths. I think
Yeah.
you should make a video and try to reenact maybe one of your most fondest memories of being in your country
Right.
um before you came to England, whatever.
Yeah.
That's it's just a suggestion, like
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
you
Thanks. I'll think about that. See how I can
yeah,
yeah,
like
go about doing that.
because then we communicated more. There was
Yeah.
more people to people communication.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
if you have to look for somebody, you have to go to them also, you have to wait for them for sure. Man, no man, it's just a phone
Yeah.
call away.
Yeah.
I mean, technology is good, but it takes away human to human communication. And remember,
Yeah.
when we had this thing that happened, we lost all of that, and we
Yeah.
missed that, and we yearn for that, and now
Yeah.
we back to our old selves again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I might have to put that in song, actually. I have to probably do a song and then do a video for the song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
yeah, just to
Yeah.
take you back to show like, yo, you came from where you were to where you
Mm.
are now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because everybody got a story to tell, and you're just giving basically a little summary of what you've done, and what you've contributed to the
Yeah.
music as far as everything. But what projects you got coming up?
Right. So well, I've got about 3 songs I'm looking to release in the next couple months. One of them is a groovy soca. Um, one is and the other one is quite ironic, actually, because it's going to be a song for the steel. We were talking about the steel drums earlier. It's going to
Mhm.
be a song dedicated to the steel drum. So that's the other song, and then the third one is an Afrobeat. I'm doing an Afrobeat, a collaboration with a female artist who is actually based in Trinidad, but that's still in the making. We haven't She and I only started discussing it last week, so we've got the track is already made, but we have to decide what the topic or song is going to be about. Yeah, but so those are the three ones that um, I'm coming up with in the next couple to 3 months. Yeah.
Okay. You planning on making anything with Sunshine P? Because she's the one that introduced me to you.
Yeah, we are, but she's focusing on a few things over the next few months, and at the back end of this year, or possibly this time next year, we're gonna be releasing a song together. We've already written the song. The song is written, but it's just her project that she's working on at the moment. She's looking to get that out there, and once that's out there, then she's gonna step aside, and then she and I are gonna do our song, record our song, and put it out there for the public to hear.
Are you guys getting any kind of support from people from back home? Because I know the artists that I know from Trinidad and Tobago is Rebel Six,
Mm,
Prince Swanee, and maybe
yeah,
a couple other guys, whatever.
yeah.
Are you guys reciprocating that kind of support from your peoples, your peers from back home?
From my peers, yes, I'm getting support in, as in what. So when it's my peers, like other artists, or people who I
Just
know as.
everybody in general, like.
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously, my fan base is growing. My fan base has grown a lot from when I started doing soca and Afrobeats at the end of 2019. It's grown a lot. I'm getting a lot of feedback. People, my songs are available on Spotify and all the musical platforms, and my sales. I mean, that Pack a Bag song, it's approaching 90,000 streams on Spotify alone, and it came out January last year. So for me, that's a massive achievement, because it's last year was a year where we just came out of the pandemic lockdown, and people, I didn't really get the opportunity to perform to an audience during that period, but yet people still listening to my music to such an extent that I'm getting so many streams, which tells me that my message is getting out there, and people are appreciating what I'm putting out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to the years to come, but also, like I said, the people, I can see my fan base is growing, and it could only improve with putting more stuff out, and doing collaborations with different artists from different backgrounds and genres, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think like all you artists that's here that do calypso should be more you should be more united. You know what I'm saying? Do
Yeah.
something different. I always tell even the Jamaican artists, I was like, if you guys were more united and you guys had more of a community, you guys could do much. Like if let's say you're dropping a project, right?
Mm,
And you was friends with like 50 other Trinidadian people. All those 50 other Trinidadian people can introduce your music to their peoples, and you could do the same thing back for them.
yeah.
With a community, you can reach the masses more.
Yeah.
You would more you could actually build your own thing from ground up
Yeah.
without a record label and stuff like that. You just do the
Correct.
distribution.
Correct. But
So
this is going back to what I said, what we were talking about earlier with the mindset and the mentality. So some people have the mindset or the notion that, so if I'm do you know who Simon Cowell is? You ever heard the name Simon Cowell?
that's the guy from one of those shows.
Yeah, right. So he's the Englishman who does all the he used to do the X Factor, that show X Factor. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. If Simon Cowell was to come to one of those producers or promoters in Trinidad and said, right, I am I'm looking for I've got 20 calypso, I've got 20 soca artists already, but I'm looking for another 10 from Trinidad. Each person is gonna get, I'm gonna put 20 million towards each person's song, and to do an album or whatever. You'd find some of those people in Trinidad, they won't hop on board, because they prefer to make 1 million and a small fry like me to make none, than for they to make 20 million and for a small fry like me to make two. Does
Mm.
that make sense? That is
Yeah,
how they thinking.
short-minded.
Yes. So they're not thinking about the the art form. They don't really care about the art form. They just care about themselves and getting their music out there, and the more popular they become, the more money they earn, and that kind of stuff. So that is what you're fighting. That is what you're fighting. And I could only speak in my genre. I can't talk about reggae music or dancehall music because
I mean,
I'm never.
they ain't no different.
Yeah,
Be honest,
right.
they
Yeah,
ain't no different.
yeah. So that is what you're fighting in terms of people. There are people who wouldn't do a collaboration. So like we're talking about rhythms.
Yeah,
There are people who wouldn't hop on board a rhythm because I'm singing on it, and I'm to them, I'm not a big time artist. So they say
yeah,
I'm not hopping on that rhythm because
yeah.
he's on it. No, my song might be very good, but
Hmm.
they're not hopping on that rhythm because he's on it. Yeah? If Beanie Man is on it, if Bounty Killer is on it, if Vibes Cartel is on it, yeah. Get them on it. It doesn't matter if the song is not the greatest song they've ever sang, but they are on the rhythm. And likewise, the producers, i.e., the guys who are actually building the beats or the rhythm, they they I'll be the last person that they are reaching out to go on their rhythm because they're thinking, well, he hasn't got as many followers as Beanie Man, so why would I want to put him on there? I'll just go and get Shaggy. I'll go and get Sean Paul. I'll go and get Beanie Man. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, I
how.
know.
So that is what you're fighting. That is what you're fighting as an artist, and when we're striving forward to promote the culture. Yeah, that's what. Hence the reason why I went out to Afrobeat, because I wanted to kind of get away from all this politics that being offered in the soca world, and show my versatility and my ability in another genre.
But
Yeah.
remember, I know all of them people that were run were shy away from you, and them see when I go run back when you're boss.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you're right. It's true. It's true. That's what
Yeah,
happened. And the kind of person I am, I wouldn't say to them or put in the face, you remember this day when I tried to reach out to you, and this, because I'm not like that. I will still go forward because my ultimate goal is the art form. I am not out here. I have always said to people, I am not out here to become famous and to be remembered as, he made 50 million, blah blah blah, off of this track. If I walk down Madison, if I walk down um Thames, the Thames Valley or Times Square, and I hear somebody playing my song on their radio, sorry, on their phone, walking on Times Square, somebody have the phone on, and my song is playing, and they walk straight past me and not even know that I'm the singer of that song. I'm happy with that because my message is getting out. That person is listening to that song because they like it. So I have achieved my goal. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
I am not about my face being across the radio, the TV, and my music. If my music can live on like Bob Marley, so Bob Marley music, he's dead and his music is still living on. And
Hmm.
some of the people who listening to his music, they were never wrong to see when he performed and hear him speak. And that is what, yeah, my music live on. My music live on. I will die and go, but my music live on. That's what it is about.
Got you.
Yeah.
Um, so before we wrap, is there any message you'd like to send out to people across the world, everybody that's viewing this, and people in your country and people where you are right now?
Yeah, I'm all I could say. Just continue to believe in yourself. You know what I mean? We all try to. Life is a struggle. I'm not gonna shy away from it. Life is a struggle. But at the end of the day, you can't believe in anything if you don't believe in yourself. You won't go forward. You gotta believe in yourself. If at any point you doubt yourself, you'll be slowing your progress down. Yeah. So believe in yourself, and look forward to uplifting and inspirational songs in time to come from myself, Calypso Don. Yeah, and that's for all generations and for all countries around the world.
Where can we find your music?
So my music, so it's available. So obviously Calypso Don available across all digital music platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, um, all like I said, all platforms, Pandora, and I've also got a YouTube channel by with the same name, Calypso Don. So you can find my music on my YouTube channel, Calypso Don, or across all digital music platforms from Spotify, sorry, to Apple Music, Deezer, iTunes, the lot. It's all there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah,
It
it was.
this really I've never talked to a person that done soca before, so I'm very honored that I'm able to have a conversation with you, and I'm happy Sunshine P sent your music out to share it. I did that. I did just that, and
Thank you. Thank
she
you.
she's good. She's a real one. I just
Yeah.
I just I mean, you probably have to pay for your radio play, so some people can't hear stuff over there
Yeah.
in the
And
country.
that, yeah.
But you seem to be doing good. How many listeners you have on Spotify?
So the listeners are just over 200 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got like over 1,500 followers. I've
Okay,
got
and on
yeah.
an Apple.
Apple. I don't know. I haven't got Apple, so I don't. I just use. I don't have a I don't monitor Apple as I do with Spotify because I have Spotify for artists, so I can see all
Stream.
my yeah streams and demographics as where in the world people are, like which countries are streaming my song the most, which age or gender. I can view all that on Spotify, but I haven't got that those statistics available on Apple Music, so I'm not sure.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
keep doing your thing, and
yeah,
transparency is always key, and
yeah,
consistency is always good.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping to maybe hear from you again when
Yeah, sure.
even if you don't get the number one song, if your music still on these platform, you still
Yeah,
get money. People think say you have to get
yeah.
number, but
Correct,
you just you,
correct.
you just need people to be playing that shit once they play
Exactly. Yeah. Once it's streaming, because like I said, you're right. My money while I'm sleeping, people are streaming my song. So I'm
passive
sleeping
income.
and I'm earning money. But then
Right,
I also have a job that I get paid monthly.
right,
So even if I don't get streams, it's not the end of the world for me.
right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Compound interest.
Yeah. So
Compound interest.
exactly. So and
All
then
right.
obviously when I get the odd performance here and there, that's another source of revenue. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah. So but it's nice having me. Thank you for having me on your show.
No
And
doubt.
I thoroughly enjoyed the I don't know how long it was. Probably about what long we done an hour.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. So it was very nice of you to have me on. A pleasure. I enjoyed it. And again, I look forward to being on your show and in the future. Hopefully, hopefully it will be under different circumstances, and I'll probably be like we'll be talking about one of my hits. Who knows?
We'll do,
Yeah,
we'll do. And
yeah,
you will have more guests. But
correct. Yeah,
just continue and believe in yourself and keep
yeah,
pushing. And remember, when you do make a
yeah,
video of
yeah,
where you're from to where you
yeah,
at. You gotta make it. I think you should start out with your friend
yeah,
that saved your life,
yeah.
and just dedicate that to him, because maybe if you did get hurt, you probably wouldn't there. So, and I probably wouldn't be talking to you. So, as you can see,
Mm,
shift the timeline, make you exist. So,
yeah,
is him making a way for you to be here is definitely a way.
mm,
It's
yeah.
definitely a good look for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
rest in peace to him,
All right. Yeah.
and take care of yourself, man.
Okay. All right. Bless up.